What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady and a couple stories from r/today I flipped up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called, I'm Not Your Uber. I was picking up my girlfriend at the airport. This was a few years ago. Uber was already big, but not as big as it is now. Our nearest airport is in a major city, so it's always hectic picking somebody up. The cop/yellow vest traffic guys don't like you waiting around at all. So I get there and it's taking my girlfriend a few minutes longer to get her checked bag than we anticipated. I'm on the phone with her and she says, I see it, I've gotta go, don't leave. So the traffic vest guy is waving at me and I roll down my window and say, I'm picking somebody up, she's just on her way, etc., trying to buy myself some time. I hear my trunk open and I'm so relieved. She jumps in the back and I thought it was a little weird, but she took a red eye and I figured she was just gonna lie down in the back and go back to sleep. I say something along the lines of, oh, perfect timing, how was your flight? And I couldn't hear her response. It was super loud with honking and cops shouting, so she closes the door and I'm so focused on trying to find a spot to pull out, I don't even look back. I just say, you good? And she says, mm-hmm. And as I'm pulling out, I'm thinking, wait. And as I'm driving away, I look in the back and realize this woman is not my girlfriend. It's some teenage kid. I'm freaking out as I'm driving away and desperately looking for a spot to pull over. But by this point, I'm in the middle lane with a rushing outflow of traffic. And when I finally saw a space, a cop or just another traffic director, I couldn't tell, very aggressively told me I couldn't stop there. While I'm trying to pull over, I'm like, who are you? Molly? Molly, I don't know you. What is this and what are you doing? Were you expecting to know me? I'm so confused at this point. My heart is racing and it's all I can do to not crash my car because it's 4 a.m. and a strange kid got in my car at the airport. And my first thought was I was being framed for a crime or something. I didn't know what to think. Why are you in my car? I'm pulling over. Why are you pulling over? I don't know you. What? What? What is going on? Is this because it's a long trip? You can't cancel because of where I'm going. That's not allowed. I take a few seconds to try and figure out what she's talking about while merging into a busy highway. Then it hits me. I am not your Uber. What? I'm pulling over. You're lying. Why would I lie about that? Look at your app. Does the driver look like me? I don't know. It's blurry. You're driving a Toyota Camry. You're my Uber. Don't lie to me. There were a dozen Toyotas back there. How could you be so flipping dumb that you get into a strange car without checking first? At this point, she starts crying and I feel bad for snapping. Look, I'm sorry. I just don't want to appear on the news as man drives teenage girl away from airport or anything, and you really caught me by surprise, and I'm sorry. I should not have yelled. I'm gonna circle back to the airport. I have to pick up my girlfriend anyway, so I'll bring you back in. No! No? No, let me out! Let me out! She starts grabbing at the door handle of the moving car. Thankfully, it locks automatically when I start driving. Oh my god, what are you doing? I don't know you! My worst nightmare coming true. Hey, it's okay, it's a mistake. I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm taking you back to the airport. She's crying again. This might be a bit of an overreaction, okay? It's fine. I'm not dangerous, I'm just clueless. Look, I'm going back to the airport. See, I'm taking the exit. You knew! Knew what? You knew you weren't my Uber! Truly and totally my worst flipping nightmare ever coming true in this moment. No, I did not. I am taking you to the airport. See? Terminal sign. We are like 3 minutes away. Seriously. Stop! I can't stop here. This is a highway. There wasn't even a shoulder. Stop! Let me out! I don't believe you! Stop! I don't believe you! I literally couldn't have stopped my car where we were without serious risk of causing a major accident. And it was not a safe place for a person to walk or even stand, so I was stuck. I'm calling 911! I'm calling 911 if you do not let me out! Look, we are a minute away from the airport. You can see the terminal. Look! She continues sobbing. We get there, I park, and thank God she didn't call the cops, and I see my many missed calls and texts from my poor girlfriend. This girl bolts out of my car, screaming, "Help! Help! Help!" Cops and guys in yellow vests, whatever they are, surround my car. I'm taken for questioning, and it takes so long that my car is almost towed. Thankfully, they allowed my girlfriend to park it. Thankfully, it created such a spectacle that my girlfriend was able to notice this happening and vouch for my being at the airport to pick her up, and not pose as an Uber driver to abduct a teenage kid and park my car. By the end, the misunderstanding was completely sorted out and the girl had calmed down, and she and her parents over the phone apologized and explained it was her first time traveling alone or being in a large city, and she was on edge. They never came right out and admitted fault, but did say they wish there hadn't been such a misunderstanding. Now I can look back and laugh, but at the time it was one of the scariest things I've ever experienced, and it was months until I could stop my car with the doors unlocked again. Whoa, okay, that could have ended horribly, because it's the word of a young teenage girl in the car of a man. Yeah, but I'm really glad it got sorted out because that could have ended so badly. Oh my goodness. And kudos to the dude for freaking out at first, but then trying his best to correct course. Good job. And let us know in the comments below if you have any scary Uber stories, similar to this, or not, if you can think of something else. This story is called Karen Drags Me Across the Store. So I work as a service and repair technician for fire alarm systems. I've had numerous run-ins with people thinking I work for the store I'm in because I have on a uniform. Most of them are alright, they realize their mistake, apologize, and move on about their day. But not this behemoth of a woman. This literally happened just yesterday. So I'm doing a mandatory annual alarm inspection at a health food store. The uniforms of the normal employees are green, but the managers there wear navy blue. As luck would have it, my uniform is also navy blue. Suddenly, during my inspection, I feel a hand grab my shoulder and spin me around. The wall of human flesh that grabbed me appeared to be upset about something. Come to find out, the Noah's Ark-shaped person before me was upset that the store was out of jackfruit, a rather pricey fruit that, to my knowledge, doesn't grow in the US. And she demanded that I go in the back and get her a jackfruit this instant. I told her that I, unfortunately, didn't work there and had no clue what she was talking about. She then proceeded to scream, "BS!" at the top of her lungs and grabbed me by the collar and forcibly dragged my happy butt up to the front of the store, where she then tossed me on the ground in front of the senior manager and asked what the heck they were thinking hiring someone like me. The real manager had to then inform her that I was not affiliated with the store and that she had just assaulted a fire alarm inspector, and that they called the police as soon as they saw her drag me across the store. They actually didn't. Never in my life have I seen a 2-ton Tina run that fast out of a store. But thanks to her, I got the day off early. But I also have to buy a new uniform. She really stretched out the collar. Okay, all I'm imagining after reading that story is, Constance, that woman from Monster House, the dude's wife that died. Yeah, she really freaked me out as a kid, and I'm just imagining that woman dragging this dude across the store. Where she got the strength to do that, I don't know. This story's called Today I Farted Up by Crying on a Date. So, I'm a recently single dude after a 9-year relationship, and I'm struggling to pick up the pieces of my life, bouncing a new job that involves a ton of travel. It's been a rough few months, so my buddy, being the great friend he is, set me up with a friend of his sister. We went up for coffee and hit it off, then decided to head back to my place so I can try and woo her with my mediocre cooking skills. We end up making an awesome stir-fry together and things are going great. I excused myself after the meal to change because I ended up with a stained shirt trying to show off my non-existent culinary prowess. Anyway, I came back to the living room and my date was checking out something on my side table and my stomach sank. I put away all the stuff relating to my ex except for one thing. We were engaged, and it was to be a gift for our last dating anniversary before the wedding. A miniature docklight from a book, a symbol between two literature nerds from the very beginning of our relationship. So here my date is, being incredibly sweet and asking about my knickknacks. I didn't really want to get into it, so I told her a partial truth that it was from this book I really liked, leaving out the colossal significance it once held. The next thing I know, she's queuing up the movie the book was made into on my TV and inviting me to come chill with her on the couch. So here I am with this poor woman halfway through a movie, my head swirling with memories of my ex that I am absolutely still in love with, and I start crying. This isn't a sneaky tear either, so she obviously notices and asks what's wrong. By this point, I know I'm screwed, and I do my best to choke stuff back and stammer out an apology saying, "I lost touch with a good friend and this was our favorite movie and I missed them more than I thought." So now the mood has completely changed, and after some awkward small talk, she suggested we reschedule and took off. Now I'm here, sipping whiskey directly from the bottle, trying to decide if I should hit up Tinder or therapy. Oh man, that's so sad. Oh no. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. My advice, I'm not sure if it's good advice or not. If you're like very, very into someone still, probably don't want to start, full on dating, or at least trying to date if you're like still that vulnerable. But that's just sad. Oh, poor guy. This story's called, "Today I flip-flopped up by aggressively blowing my nose before an online exam." Today I was scheduled for an online proctored exam. This class has taken me longer than I'd like, so I'm pretty ready to be over it. I had my webcam set up, I was all ready to go, just had to click connect. It normally takes a couple minutes for a proctor to show up on screen after clicking, so I hit connect and sat there waiting. Unfortunately, this past week, I've had a major sinus infection. I decided I should blow my nose one last time before the proctor arrived. So I quickly grabbed a tissue and released my mucus floodgates. I really didn't want to be wiping my nose all exam, so I blew as much and as hard as I could. I noticed a tiny bit of blood on the tissue, but thought nothing of it as I have been blowing my nose nonstop this week. The proctor connected at this moment. As she popped up on the screen, she was looking down and preparing to read her scripted message. I've had proctors do their entire speech barely looking up, so this was normal. I could tell she was new because she was relying heavily on the notes. I started to feel my nose running more vigorously, but I didn't want to be rude and blow my nose while she was speaking. She kept talking and looking down while I answered her questions. My nose was really running now, but the tissues were just out of reach. This is where I flip up and made this my fault. I should have recognized this was not a normal runny nose. I should have just grabbed the tissues, but no, I was single-minded. Must focus, must complete exam, must not fail, must not live in van down by the river. She was still looking down, so I thought, I'll be sly and wipe my nose on the back of my arm. Yeah, I'm gross, but at this point of this sinus infection, I don't give a front door. I didn't even look at my arm because I was trying to be quick about it. Finally, she looked up at me. I did my best, cheery, "Hey, proctor lady, let's get this going so I can bust out this exam before my snot-covered face gets any worse." Smile, even though I could actively feel my nose leaking. I expected her to return her best, "Hey, 30-something snot-faced college student. I'd rather be doing anything other than sitting here silently while you agonize on these easy multiple-choice questions," customer service smile. But as she looked up and registered my face, no, a smile is not what I got. Her face went from startled to sheer terror to confusion. It was at this point that I caught a glimpse of myself on screen and I realized how stupid I'd been, assuming my nose was simply leaking boogers. There, facing on camera, was a smiling idiot with a face completely covered in blood. I saw her eyes avert to my arm, which I just then realized was also smeared with blood. I looked down at my shirt and realized that this is also covered in blood. Kind of a bummer. It is a favorite from one of the first dates I had with my husband. And I'm just sitting there with this big old smile like I probably have brain damage. As the initial confusion wore off, I was no longer smiling and she immediately started asking if I needed her to call medical assistance. I assured her that it was just a bloody nose. I grabbed the tissues, determined to clean this up and take this exam come hell or high water. The blood just kept gushing though. Out of habit from the past week, I blew my nose into the tissue. Clearly, I am not a smart woman. This blasted a spray of blood all across the white tissue, my hands, the desk, and a bit onto the webcam. I looked back at the proctor to see her face was now utterly devoid of color. Now I'm like, oh Fritz, this lady's about to pass out. While still clutching my bloody nose, I asked her if she was okay, telling her to call for a coworker. I started to call out for help, but I realized she has a headset on. No one else can hear me on her end. Finally, I saw one of her coworkers come into frame. He checked on her, had her put her head between her legs, then checked on me to understand the situation, and finally requested that I reschedule the exam. At this point, my exam-taking nerves were shot and I'm like, fudge it, yeah, this ain't gonna happen. So now I'm rescheduled for tomorrow. Okay, yeah, I can imagine the proctor's confusion when she looks up to see this woman covered in blood, smiling at her like a psycho. I can understand her impulse to faint. This story's called, Today I Forked Up by Not Eating Breakfast. Okay, this has probably been the worst experience in my entire life. To clarify, I am fine and dandy now. I'm lying in bed and trying to block out the horrible memories that were created today. I'll be straight up. I've been having pain in my Richard. I went to the doctor. They prescribed me antibiotics because they think I'm dirty and they want to be safe. Something deep down told me this wasn't an STD. My doctor refers me to a urologist. I go to him. He thinks it's my prostate. This is where things get interesting. I am a 24-year-old male. It's odd for dudes my age to have prostate issues. They bring me into the room and I sit down. They hand me a waiver and the only thing that goes through my head is, oh, he's gonna stick his finger up my butt. I thought it was a colonoscopy. That would have been the preferable alternative to the nightmare that's about to ensue. I read sonogram, and I'm like, never had this. Wonder what this could be. I'm told by the nurse to drop my jeans and lay on the bed. I do so, and she injects numbing serum into my Richard hole. I now know that my fate has been sealed. I'm freaking out because I'm about to get a camera shoved up my Richard. I instantly ask, does it hurt? And she's a woman, and I'm an idiot who apparently can't read. Doc comes in and I'm like, please God. He has the camera and it's this crazy looking snake, like the snake robot from War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. He jams it in and I can't bear to look at my poor wiener. I couldn't imagine. He's showing me my insides on the screen and he's like, oh look, there's your prostate. I'm like, yeah, I see it. Dog, I'm dying at this moment. It hurts so gosh darn bad. It doesn't end there. When he's done, he pulls it out and tells me my prostate has been irritated due to a genetic issue. Lame. He leaves, tells me to clean myself up and go claim the paper for my meds. I sit up and feel the blood rush to my brain. I lay down for another 10 minutes to let my body calm down. I didn't eat this morning, so I'm sure my blood sugar is going insane right now. I eventually stand up and go out the door to claim my medication paper. I feel woozy again and I'm seeing colors. The doctor grabs me and goes, oh, he's gonna pass out, which made me freak the F out, and then I passed out on the floor in the middle of the flipping office. I dreamt about SpongeBob and wake up. I see 4 faces staring at me. One of them hands me candy to bring up my blood sugar. I lie down for a bit, then I decide to sit up. Only now I've realized something. I peed my flipping pants. I'm soaked in pee. One nurse is laughing and I start to laugh. They pick me up and bring me into one of the rooms to lay down for another 30 minutes. Luckily, the nurse that stayed by my side was really sweet and she kept talking to me. Once my body revitalized itself, I walk out into the waiting room to see like 16 people staring at me and smirking. What a horrible experience. Okay, so I was expecting one thing from the story and I got something completely different. Oh, poor dude. Poor dude. He gets a camera shoved up his urethra, then he pees his pants in the room full of 20 people. Goodness. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.